This year we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Premiere. So the 1.0 of Premiere came out 25 years ago. It was able to do 160 by 120 pixel resolution, and we've come quite a long way since then. I personally started on the product in 2010, and at that time we saw an opportunity in the market to really focus on broadcast. We felt that we had the potential to be very successful there, and we also knew that broadcast is hard. So we took the challenge on, and really through the years from 2010 through to sort of 2014, we massively, dramatically increased our footprint in the broadcast market, and we can say with some confidence we're the primary NLE for many of the world's top broadcasters now. In more recent years, we've added some focus, not defocusing from broadcast, but added a new focus on the Hollywood market. Again, because Hollywood is hard, again, because there's obviously a huge halo effect of being in Hollywood, and also because we know we have an application that is capable and can also learn from being in Hollywood. So we've had some very high-profile productions over recent year or two over recent years. David Fincher's Gone Girl was the first AAA production to be cut exclusively with Premiere Pro. The Coen brothers, Hail Caesar was cut exclusively in Premiere Pro, and you're going to see, I'll just say you're going to see a lot more of us in Hollywood as well. So yeah, I mean, from humble origins, we've really grown into one of the industry, if not the industry's leading nonlinear editors, and we continue to grow. It's a very exciting place to be.
Great, and tell us about some innovation and some new developments you'd like to share.
Sure, so it's a very interesting one, this show. We've announced, we generally announce new versions of our products, but instead of just doing like a reveal where we ship them later, we've actually announced and shipped them at the same time. So for the first time, people can go to the booth, see the demos, and go home and use the product. So that's really exciting. We're getting sort of different types of feedback because of it. If I start with Premiere Pro, some really exciting new technology in there. You may know we did something a few versions ago which we called the Lumetri color panel, and that sat in a color workspace, and that was really designed to help editors who needed to be successful with color and color grading, but who didn't have the time or the skills to go out to a fully fledged grading application to be successful with color. We made it intuitive and approachable, but under the hood, very powerful color science. What we've done this go around is done something very similar with both audio and motion graphics. So for audio, we're introducing what we call the Essential Sound panel. This is, in a sense, Lumetri for audio. So what you do is you select your audio clips and you tell the ESP what kind of audio it is. Is it dialogue? Is it music? Is it effects? Is it ambience? Once you've told us that, we'll then, instead of just labeling them, which is useful in itself, but we then present a set of understandable, logical parameters to optimize those types of audio. So for dialogue, we'll make it really easy to denoise and add compression and make the sound fuller, and we can auto-match different clips to loudness values, all without the user needing to know the complexity of what's happening under the hood. If that user wants to go further, just like with Lumetri, they can open those plugins, they can see those parameters moving, and they can work out what's happening. So just a way for non-audio specialists to very easily make very high quality sounding audio mixes. The other side of things is motion graphics. Again, editors have to do everything, so they have to do color, they have to do audio, they have to do motion graphics. And so there's a whole new motion graphics experience in Premiere Pro. A brand new way of making titles and graphics. We call it the Essential Graphics panel. A new type tool which is very intuitive. You could easily just type on the video and change all the parameters of the text you could imagine. But then within that graphics object, you can add things to it. So you can draw shapes, you can bring in still images and video and build up nice complex graphics, again in a very intuitive way. We ship Premiere with a bunch of template graphics. We call them motion graphics templates. Great name, very clear. And there's like 50 included. You can drag them onto the timeline, use them to your heart's content. Where the real power of this comes in, though, is if you are a motion graphics artist who can drive After Effects successfully, you can build a really complex After Effects composition with like multiple layers and expressions and all these sort of deep level After Effects things, and you can actually save that as a motion graphics template. When you save it, you can, or when you create that template, you as the After Effects person can determine which parameters will be adjustable in Premiere Pro. You give it to the editor, So that editor then has the full complexity of the comp, but with just a handful of parameters to make adjustments to. So it's like having all of the power of After Effects living inside Premiere Pro, but with a much more simple way of working with them for the editor.
And I'll tell us a little bit about the pricing or the availability, and it's all cloud-based, of course, which is a big move for you guys. Are there various sort of offerings or
yeah, I can talk about that. So just to be clear, it's cloud-based in the sense that it's a membership system, so you pay us a monthly amount to get access to all of our tools. Our tools remain desktop tools. You install them on your desktop. We also have tools that run on devices like iOS and Android. But then we have a whole host of services I won't bore you all with, but a whole host of cloud-based services to really aid creativity and enable collaboration and so on. In terms of pricing, for a single user, if you want access to all of the services, the data, and all of the applications we make, it's for $50 a month. Local pricing may vary. I'm probably supposed to say that, I expect. But we do a bunch of different offerings as well. You can buy single applications. So if you just want to use Premiere Pro, that's $19.99 a month. And we also have a bundle aimed specifically at photographers where you get Lightroom and Photoshop for $9.99. I'll go back. And we also have a bundle for photographers where you get Photoshop and Lightroom for just $9.99 a month. So different offerings to suit different user types, but like I say, everything we make for $50 a month, I call that a bargain, and I always will.
Absolutely, Al. And just finally, you know, we've been covering the long tail of video content creators, journalists, independent video bloggers. What do you see as sort of the exciting new tools that are obtainable for people who are not at super advanced, or the look of video that will change? And also, if you have anything to say about virtual reality and how that might develop.
Okay, so there's two quite separate questions. I mean, in terms of we are acutely aware of the fact that the type of person or people who need to and want to tell stories with video is very different to 5 years ago, right? Maybe a few more, but we're seeing a whole new generation of people who have a desire to make video, and not all of them immediately have the skills. And we know that our high-end professional applications like Premiere and After Effects can be daunting. So every release you'll see, we improve the sort of first start experience in these products. We try to guide users through them. We try to demystify some of it, because actually once you get the hang of these things, they're not terribly complex. They don't need to be terribly complex. So we really do think a lot about helping users without deep skills to be successful. And actually things like Lumetri and Essential Sound are more examples of that. You know, just abstracting the user from unnecessary complexity and to make them more approachable. If you look at the broader Adobe play, you'll see that we have our high-end desktop applications. More and more you're seeing lighter weight applications designed for devices. So you can think about Premiere Clip, which is a simple editor that runs on iOS and Android, and that's another good example of more lightweight tools designed for different users. But I think approachability and lighter weight tools are the two things there. VR is a massive leap to the side there, but I'll take it. I remain and have been for a long time very excited by VR. I think it's awesome. I will say I still think it needs to find its feet, and I don't think we know where its feet quite are yet. But the experiences are so fantastic that I believe that this is something that will last. We've invested in VR in Premiere Pro. Our last version added support for bringing in equirectangular stitched media and being able to go inside the sphere and pan around. Some tools for manipulation of the sphere. We work with we work with some third parties, most notably Metal, Chris Bobotis' company, to embellish that support, so you can work with an Oculus Rift headset if you need to. We've also got some really exciting internal projects going on. You may have heard of Project Clover, which is in-headset. We haven't got in-head editing yet quite. That's coming next. In-headset editing, where you can actually view a timeline while being in the VR space. So loads of tech coming. And then this year, the release that we put out last week also has new support for spherical audio, so ambisonics audio. So you're going to see us keep doing this. We really are invested in VR. We think, like I say, while I'm not sure exactly where it's going to find its place, I believe it will find it, and I'm really, really excited by it.